So what you're looking at here are two beehives. These are a standard 10 frame Langstroth deep configuration. I have not yet used these. I brought them in from outside just to kind of show you a little about these. You can see the snow on the bottom there. That's why there's snow, because they were outside until a few minutes ago. So I've got these two beehives on a two-way pallet. I run all of my bee equipment on two-way pallets, so I built some of these pallets so that's consistent. I can move these around with my tractor easily enough. These are a nice insulated beehive. They're a little pricey. You know, one of those empty boxes runs me about $35 Canadian. So that's definitely a consideration. And initially I thought maybe I would use just a standard bottom board, but kind of the way they're made, it's really is best if you use the bottom board that they provide. Polystyrene used for these, there's polystyrene, is very thick and very heavy. Now, I haven't looked in here, so you can see there was some condensation dripping. So again, I've not used these. There's a beekeeper near me, runs I don't know, maybe 600, 700, 800 hives. He's switched to these exclusively. He winters outdoors here in Canada, and he does nothing to this hive besides feed it, feed the colony, and say goodbye in the fall. So this is wrapped for winter with the polystyrene insulation. So you can see this comes with a screen bottom board. I don't know how much more I could say about that. There's an insert that you can set in there to block it off. The beekeeper I mentioned tells me that no, you need to leave that open all winter for ventilation. I guess, you know, there was no bees in this at all, and look at the condensation, the ice in here. So I guess that's kind of why he says that you need that ventilation with that bottom board open. So again, these are just standard Langstroth deeps. That bottom board is frozen. Go on there. And that's the bottom board. There is a nifty little plastic entrance reducer. You can't really see here, but there's a groove. There's a groove here, and there's a nifty little entrance reducer. I didn't get that with the kit. I'll just use a standard wedge like I normally do. So I had made two of these pallets so far, so I could run up to 4 hives with these polystyrenes. I only have 4 boxes though, so if I'm going to winter outdoors with these, I need to get 4 more boxes, because you really should be wintering doubles outdoors with this system. So just a little bit about the pallet. I wasn't sure how to do this, but I just came up with a solution. I made some little blocks that sort of match the bottom. You know, there's a little indent here, and there's a space here, so I've matched that indent and whatnot. Seems to work okay. I've just got a back piece here that goes between the two. So you can slide that piece that comes with it, you can slide that in here. I can't see my finger. You can slide that, focus please, right in here to close that bottom board off if and when you want. You want to do some mic drop monitoring, etc. So again, that's the bottom board and pallet. They end up being a bit wider than my standard pallet because the boxes are wider, the bottom boards are wider. My intention is to not use polystyrene honey supers, that I can just set my standard wooden deep honey supers on top of the polystyrene hive, and everything should be fine. I certainly expect that to work, so I hope it works as well in practice as it does in my head. Here's that little groove I mentioned earlier for that little plastic reducer. I think my wooden wedge reducer will work just fine on this. So there you go. That's Paradise bee box polystyrene hives. I think they're a great idea for multiple reasons. Maybe a hobbyist doesn't want to bother with wrapping to winter outdoors. Commercial guys such as myself, I winter indoors, but the spring is always a difficult time because you can't keep the bees indoors. It's too warm. You move them out. The nights are still cold. It's a big shock for them. It's hard on the colony. So if you had your hives in this, even if you had singles in these polystyrenes in your bee barn all winter, you should be able to move those out in the spring, and then they would have a bit more insulation for those cold nights and sometimes even cold days. April and May can get pretty nasty in this part of the world. So, I'm going to try these out in different ways. Maybe I'll winter a couple of them outdoors in doubles. Maybe then I'll take a couple more and winter them indoors in singles, just to kind of see how it fits in my workflow, see how the bees perform. It's just a trial thing. I love to try new things, so I'll post more later on. It won't be for quite some time before I have any data on what's happening with these and how the bees respond to them. So anyway, there you go. Have fun.